running back David Montgomery is out today, and that's bad news for the Cyclones. Campbell likes his moxie and his ownership, and he's got a great arm that we've seen at times, but he wants a little more consistency from Nolan, so we'll see if we get that today.
Nwangu back to receive. And this will end up out of the end zone. We told you about the Harrisons off the top. Their touchstone in this game is Hakeem Butler, a junior from Baltimore. He grew up in Maryland. He lost his mom to breast cancer, so moved down to live with his cousins. And what athletic cousins they were, the Harrisons from Kentucky. Andrew and Aaron, they played basketball together. Butler learned how to play football in part through the game of basketball. And Hakeem Butler, who had a big game against Iowa last season. Nolan to throw on first down. Pressure comes and down he goes. Nolan.
You see the influence of the new defensive coordinator and Jim Knowles. And this
which just put up 14 against TCU last week. They'll go with a quick hitter. Nolan to Deshaunte Jones. And not a whole lot there. Intercepted by Tabo Mwaniki. And Oklahoma State gets the stop.
And a pretty decent pass. Good protection as opposed to that.
This afternoon as Tylan Wallace is back to receive the punt. From the 30. Wallace is dragged to the boundary.
On the return, number 3.
First flag.
A false start by number 56 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Oklahoma State. Justice Hill, so shifty, finds his way to the outside. A prodigy. One more time on the ground, and you see the agility for this running back, Justice Hill. Cornelius on the run, and a big run. Cornelius down to the 15.
Decision by Cornelius on that quarterback replay. Zone outside, quarterback up for a huge play inside.
Justice Hill bottled up as we check in with Chris Connor. Some more upheaval today. Cornelius off a pickup from Hill, giving him some extra time. And he's got it in the end zone for a touchdown. Jelani Woods, the redshirt freshman, with the score.
Down and receivers start to get open. The quarterback Cornelius got outside. Iowa State dropped coverage on that one. Secondary play that Iowa State didn't cover very well.
And Iowa State has turned to the freshman quarterback Brock Purdy in for his 3rd snap ever as a collegiate player. His handoff is to Lang, 2nd down off and 1 run, but we expected to see him in for Nolan at points today.
And what Purdy brings to this offense is much more quarterback run.
He set a bunch of records in Arizona in high school. They will run. Bundage coming again. Purdy on the run, and he goes down in a heap about a yard short. They're going to say he's down at the 34. 4th down coming up.
And this is what Brock Purdy brings to the offense that Zeb Nolan lacks. And we see Iowa State may go for it right here, but Purdy can.
Corey Dunn to punt. Wallace to receive, and this one goes out of bounds. The tailback. He gets the run. Boy, can he dazzle to the outside. He finds the corners.
Up with the speed and athleticism of Oklahoma State.
Talking to Gundy about this Iowa State defense. Draw play here. He said they really try to make you impatient as an offensive coordinator.
Patient, and not many of them are in this conference.
Free runner. Cornelius goes down. Eisworth was there first. Orion Vance finished the day.
And then you bring timely pressure. And that's what we're seeing on this one. We're seeing more pressure. The safeties.
And the ball dropped by the punter Signer. He boots it out of the end zone for a safety. just flat out clang. Well, the defense pressures the offense, but not the special teams. You got to catch the ball.
Sometimes it's the most basic things that you forget about. Punter has to catch a football.
After Matt Campbell took over for the fired Paul Rhodes, Iowa State tried to bounce back, and they did it in a big way last year. A couple of huge wins at number 3 Oklahoma. Kyle Kemp was brilliant in that game. 3 touchdowns, 343. And then 3 weeks later, TCU 14-7. Hakeem Butler, we detailed him earlier, had an early touchdown, and Jack Trice Stadium was overrun with Cyclones. 2017 Liberty Bowl champions, 5 wins on the road, and Matt Campbell, a guy who coached at Mount Union, ended up playing at Mount Union first. He was and has rebuilt Iowa State. Special teams drops evidently are our theme this afternoon.
Well, Matt Campbell told us that he thinks of the game.
Nwangu in motion behind Purdy, who throws for the first time. Buckner is tight end across the 40-yard line. The fullback tight end hybrid.
A quick hook by Nolan is because Purdy can do some of this. He can get on the move. He makes good decisions as a young player, practiced really well, and so now Iowa State can go a little bit faster than normally they would.
Brock Purdy with his first completion ever in this game. That run gets him about 5. And tempo for the Cyclones, at least to the line. Nwangu breaks a tackle and gets to the outside for a first down as he steps out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line. Trey Carter had him first.
And with Brock Purdy in the game, the quarterback zone read actually means something, because Purdy is certainly a threat to run the football. Zeno plays for Iowa State. He's a much better runner than Nolan is, and we've already seen just the threat of a quarterback that has the ability to run, the effect it has on the defensive side of the ball.
Nwangu just short of the line to gain. Olivia.
Jason, this is the most we're seeing Brock Purdy, like you said, but he's kind of a freshman phenom within their walls. In fact, wide receiver Hakeem Butler says he throws a nice ball and he loves catching from him. But more than that, Hakeem says Brock's so far ahead of every freshman he sees. He comes in so focused, the same every day.
Which you don't see from a freshman typically is that consistency, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly why freshmen haven't played a lot in the past, because a lot is put on your plate. You're trying to find your way to biology class, and you were at prom just a few months ago, and then you have to play in places like this. And so sometimes it comes a little bit later, but this young man is wise beyond his years, and he's really playing now in a system that fits him really well, and we saw the quarterback run on that play before.
There are 2 receivers at the top side, only 1 defender there. And now Jones in motion. He will get the ball. And just a short gain. Brock Purdy, the first true freshman quarterback to play for Iowa State since 1995. We're talking through the Sage Rosenfels era. That
have the quarterback running the football to be effective offensively.
Purdy saw the pressure coming, felt it, got out of the pocket, and let's see. Touchdown! Butler high points it beautifully. It's about the basketball history with Butler. Here it is.
And 6'6", and this was a veteran move. He didn't let Williams, the defensive back, know the ball was coming until the very end. And I don't know that Hakeem Butler came down in bounds with this. He has possession, that left foot. I think that's a catch.
Wow.
I think that's a catch, and he ended up possessing it really one-handed as he taps with that left foot. You talk about going up and getting a rebound.
He said it before. He grew up. 4th touchdown catch of the year for Hakeem Butler. And Iowa State off the safety punches it in through the air with the new quarterback Purdy to Butler going up the ladder. At least one person in a column this week compared to Joe Montana, as you might expect. Notre Dame against Virginia Tech later on. Hubbard on the return, and Cornelius wanted to wing it deep. And now a holding penalty is going to come in too on the back end of that play. Twisted all.
Holding by number 23 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
When they feel like they have an advantage.
Hill gets turned around by
that front end at times.
Corner came in, and Cornelius got it away across the 35. Jelani Woods becomes a semi.
Cornelius did a great job because what Olivia just talked about, his offensive line is getting leaky up front. 3 guys on the defensive line of scrimmage. The question is, go ahead.
The other question, that's part of this review, by the way, is a possible targeting foul.
And I think the targeting is Tylan Wallace on a crackback block you're seeing on your screen, and Lawrence White, number 11, got obliterated. So that's a defenseless player by category. Plus there might be
the
crown of the helmet.
After further review, the ruling that the runner was down before the ball came out stands, and there is no foul for targeting.
Forced movement.
Penalty, and it's still third down.
It's on Wallace. They say he moved first. Third down defensively. Cornelius wants to throw and runs right into Payne, who went by him initially and turned him aside at the end.
DeAndre Payne, number 1, is coming out from the edge, and then Jake Hummel is coming up inside from his linebacker position. A lot of games on that line of scrimmage. You start, Nate is not sorting it out very well currently.
Mike Gundy was very unhappy with his offensive line the last couple of weeks as Milton takes it on the run, and Tariq Milton short of the 40-yard line.
A lot of yards right there. Wow.
Drew Brees on his way deeper into the record books. Purdy, the freshman for Iowa State, invites the contact from Colby Peel. And very close to the marker.
The quarterback design run is firmly on the table currently for Iowa State. Purdy was 3 for 3 for 41 yards and a TD on that last drive, and timely runs as well.
DeShante Jones dancing for not a whole lot. All right, so the last drive, 7 plays, 75 yards, 7 points. You're gonna take that.
Absolutely. And Zeb Nolan didn't get much of a chance. It was a quick hook. Less about Zeb Nolan and more about what they think Brock Purdy can do. They know him from practice, and they have him now kind of acclimated to what they want to do offensively at Iowa State, and the young man is playing lights out currently.
2 guys in motion. They have to set before the snap. And they do officially for the 1 second. Purdy sets and throws and has his man, Tariq Milton, who had the punt return just moments ago. He's got a first down to the 40. Purdy looks.
Oklahoma State didn't adjust very well to where Milton ended up.
Flag in.
A false start by number 57 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
It's the freshman center from Ames, Colin Newell. 9-7, Iowa State with the lead in the ball at the end of 1 from Stillwater. He is in play with games remaining against Texas and West Virginia on the schedule for a Big 12 title. Nwangu invites tacklers, kind of look like Montgomery there, who's not playing today. David Montgomery, he's the tackle breaker of this group. For the freshman quarterback at his first extended playing time, Brock Purdy. Quick throw for Milton, who gets undercut. Nicely done by Kenneth Edison Magruder.
But the lead blocker, in this case, Landon Akers, is going to get his block, and he didn't on that play. But this is where Purdy has to prove that he's ready to play. is hold up under the pressure that he's going to get in this third and pass down situation right here.
Got to get to the 30. Purdy backpedaling, got it away, and not enough for Crony, who was tripped up by Phillips. You going for it or kick it?
I think squarely on the table. When you have a quarterback that's a viable run option, you have a perfect play designed if your quarterback makes a good decision in the run game right here.
Field goal would be about 51 yards. Instead, 4th down for Purdy. He fakes the throw, does it again, and gets the first down.
He makes some pretty good things happen. This is obviously outside the design of the play, but that's what I'm talking about, the quarterback's feet. It can be in designed runs or has a little moxie about him, doesn't it?
He absolutely does. You saw how fired up his sideline was, and they're going to be elated for this. Purdy to the end zone.
This guy's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, he is.
And all of the stuff that Brock Purdy brings to the table kind of within the play. That time it was a fake throw outside to Milton right at the very end, and he gets a defender to jump out of his run fits, and the quarterback keeps it, and all of the things that come into play when your quarterback is a viable runner of the football. And it's amazing the effect it has on a defense.
Coaches don't like surprises.
No, Brock Purdy is that surprise. And watch the little head fake right at the end. The pass fake outside, and then number 15 having flashbacks, all the records he set in high school. Pretty special player already.
Well, 1 year in the minors, Brock Purdy's dad was managed by Mario Mendoza of the famed Mendoza line of 200. His son has been well better than 200 so far today in Stillwater. 7 for 7, 63 on the ground. Sees the ball again, but trailing big time. Hubbard had a nice return last time, and he skates across the 30, back to the 32. Justice Hill, a first down run, and he's to the 40. Chris Cotter, but came back and won. Cornelius on the throw to Landon Wolf, who had a big game last week, and this is into plus territory inside the 40.
Hey, dudes. And then how do we get our dudes the ball? That's what this game is about.
Cornelius under siege again, right up the middle. Spencer Benton, the senior, right.
Was watching Oklahoma State this week, is their offensive line does not do a very good job of sorting out things up front and communicating in the run game or in the pass game, and we saw it on that play, and we've seen it actually the last 3 drives. Very leaky.
How does that make you feel as a quarterback? What does that make you do?
Not very comfortable. You get very jittery in the backfield, and sometimes your eyes go down instead of staying up to see the coverage.
Cornelius, open space across the 30. The quarterbacks both jaunting on the ground today. It's a growing up. And here he launches down the middle, batted away. DeAndre Payne in front of Johnson.
Payne did it.
Hubbard sneaks through, and Hubbard down to the 11. Picking his way inside the 10. They do have a chance at a first down at the 1. This will be second down. Cornelius, end zone, and incomplete. He wanted Wallace, who didn't have enough room at the sideline.
Quarterback.
Wolf finds his way in. Landon Wolf, touchdown. Your corner is out of play as pass defenders, and Wolf, who got a astute. It's outrageous.
Thank you.
This one is out of bounds. Bad news for Oklahoma State. Good news, SEC Pac-12 combo pack. Chris Emmy. We'll see the Hurricanes next week at UVA, as Iowa State's gotten its best ground attack from the quarterback so far, but some pretty strong numbers.
Yeah, and when you don't have David Montgomery playing, you need strong numbers to come from somewhere. The rest of the guys in the running back room are just supplements to Montgomery, quite frankly. And Brock Purdy is the guy that has to make a difference. And so far, the last couple of drives, he's done just that.
Nwangu's second down carry, and the straight-ahead running game is not there today.
Recently in this last part of the football game.
First extended playing time ever for Purdy in college football. Down the sideline he goes, batted away. Done the punt. And don't forget, tonight on ABC, this is a guy who is really a first-year starter, even though he played the national championship game. As Cornelius gets it away to Wolf, who had the most recent touchdown. And a marker comes in as well. Jateri is
holding by number 13 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
It's penalty number 5, and it goes against Johnson.
And that's the recipe.
Hill, the tailback. Justice Hill gives ground. And we mentioned this earlier. We're talking to Mike Gundy. He said Iowa State makes your offensive coordinator impatient. For me, it's kind of like the guy who keeps punching the elevator button when it's already coming. Right. You want to do something about it, you can't.
Yeah, or you're in traffic like me and you zig and zag and you end up behind the same guy you were 21 in, which we saw in that last play.
Off the 6th tackle for loss today. That's a low line drive at the 30 and incomplete.
That was a poor pass by Taylor Cornelius. This is a curl route coming back between 3 defenders. There's a big enough window there, and the quarterback Cornelius just kind of short-armed one. He wasn't quite sure because that route was being squeezed from both sides.
3rd down. Cornelius under pressure. And he's hit as he throws by Willie Harvey, the senior, who busted down the door again.
There we see the
Milton out of bounds at the 44. Another freshman touching the ball. And a neat new feature here in Stillwater. That's our backstage pass. Purdy to throw. Down the middle, he has a dagger to Akers inside the 2-yard line. Williams lands and Akers the strike.
And I think this just simply caught Oklahoma State defensively by surprise. It was a go route to the post. Williams acted like he was expecting help inside. The offensive line move.
A false start, number 88 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
Milton in motion. Purdy the other way off the fake. He throws. Sean Buckner incomplete. Ball's not even out of his grip.
No kidding. And that was an easy one that got away from both Purdy and Sean Buckner right there.
One of the tight ends and another false start.
Number 63 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Door. Crony right down the center to the end zone.
Oklahoma State is having a hard time getting a fit up front, and that was just a simple zone inside. With that actually looked like it might have been a called give, even though Brock Purdy went through with the 5 of Oklahoma State.
Well, they got him real close with Purdy to Akers down the seam. They were knocking on the door, couple of penalties. But Sheldon Crony, whose uncle Joey Porter never would have let him get in this easily, pays it off. ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. Kelly Stauffer on the watch list for National Analyst of the Year. Here's Chris. Iowa State just got in Justice Hill, who was very lightly recruited. Mike Gundy said, we thought that we had.
Again.
Hill a second time on this drive, and he shows some of that shiftiness to set up third straight carry for Hill, and look at him duck in for you.
The disposition, kind of humble and quiet.
Well, Cornelius didn't know the snap was coming. In fact, only one person did. Second down, Cornelius. Pressure coming again, and he is dumped. Third and long coming up as we check in with Olivia.
Yeah.
With the first half in Stillwater. It holds up this time. Cornelius goes down the middle, and Payne absolutely got beat by Landon Wolf. Beautiful grab.
Placed.
Gain of 27. Cornelius looking for him again. Just missed. Hubbard, the tailback. Skates outside. He's got a first down. Oklahoma State. Iowa State was down in this game 7-0. Then a safety helped turn their fortune. Cornelius. Sideline. Got it! Tyron Johnson! Touchdowns. And a game that took the LSU transfer with the touchdown. And this leads to a touchback. Purdy on the other side, he just walked onto campus recently. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, walk onto campus and start running the football. And he's a very heady quarterback. You can see that he played a lot of football, but it's his playmaking ability, kind of a little Brett Favre-esque in a sense, and doing a lot of things outside the design, a lot of ball fakes, and he makes things happen. And you saw it from the first moment he got on the field. He's 8 out of 10, 110 yards, and he has 63 on the ground and 6 carries, and he's decided well. He's been a decisive guy at that position also.
His Cavalier has been a little bit more controlled than your typical gunslinger type. He goes down the middle here for Milton and put it right on his fingertips. That's a beautiful ball into plus territory.
You can't place the ball any better than that right there. There was a very, very tiny window. Tell me if you're the quarterback, if you can throw that ball in there. That was terrifically well covered and just wasn't.
Paul ever seeing this. It takes some confidence to do that for a young man who'd played all of 2 snaps before. Purdy to run. And he got yanked back. Could be a flag and a personal foul coming against Justin Phillips.
And I don't know if it was late, but it certainly was a horse collar. I think the quarterback, Purdy, was pulled down by the back of the
personal
collar.
Foul, horse collar tackle by number 19 of the defense. It's a 15-yard
go. If you grab and pull and it creates the tackle, then you've got the flag.
And another one of those penalties that we've talked about is something that Iowa State.
Lang in motion. Purdy always scanning upfield, and he goes down at the 25.
Great touch, and his ball placement has been impeccable.
And his runnings neutralized this pass rush that's so strong at times for Oklahoma State. Purdy again gets doused. Chance to get the ball back. Still 0 for on 3rd down. Purdy to the end zone. Oh, Eaton falling to the ground. Sorcery in the end zone.
Rodarius Williams, the corner for Oklahoma State, is wondering what he has to do to cover somebody. He's basically in the shirt pocket of Eaton, and the ball is apparently caught. There's infighting down the way, and as Eaton is pushed to the ground or falls to the ground, he catches the football. Great ball placement once again by a true freshman quarterback in Brock Purdy, but you can't cover a guy much better than that by Williams.
You think about what his teammates say and his craft.
We'll see if the girlfriend sticks around, but what you have outside is you have length much more than you have speed, and you have guys in Jones and Hakeem Butler and Matthew Eaton that finish on the football well. And a lot of times I would take that over speed. If I have length and a good catch radius and guys that will finish on the football like their life depends on it, I would take that over speed. It's a pretty dedicated girlfriend.
Very dedicated. Little chip shot here to the 30. And Oklahoma State, if it so chooses, will have a chance maybe for some points here. Iowa State gets on the pile. Let's see if the ball did come loose, and the Cyclones recovered it as they unpacked the pile. No signal that direction. Looks like it will be Oklahoma State football. So the freshman Brock Purdy, 233, 3 touchdowns, trying to be the first quarterback for Iowa State to win in Stillwater since Sage Rosenfels. They were trailing 23-20 going into the fourth quarter, 13-3 to finish the game to create some distance, and that is heady company. Sage Rosenfels, one of the best all time at Iowa State, if not the best quarterback for the Cyclones. And for a team that put up just 14 points last week and struggled offensively, it has been a quarterback Purdy. Oklahoma State with timeouts to spare. Hill
And get this ball somewhere close to the end zone.
could squeeze in one play here as pressure comes. Down he goes, and that might be the end of the line for Oklahoma State in the half. Jaquan Bailey. Defense getting a stop. We thought this would go one direction, and so often it takes a veer on a college football Saturday. 5 sacks in the half for Iowa State. We go back to Chris Cotter for the halftime report right after these messages. (30-21). Iowa State with the lead. Oklahoma State gets the ball. And another kick out of bounds, this time from the Cyclones. As we take a look at that Purdy.
Well, we knew.
Outstanding.
Yeah, we knew we were going to see Brock Purdy, and we didn't know we were going to see him this early, but Purdy's ability to run the football has made a huge difference, but his headiness has been amazing, and then his precision passing, and his receivers have made plays. And Taylor Cornelius, on the other hand, has thrown the ball well when he's had time, but he's been under duress the entire first half and the second half.
Iowa State shows up here with 6 sacks for the year and turns Cornelius inside out as Mike running to pick up here in Stillwater. As Hill navigates outside, and he's turned back by Rose. 3rd down.
And Hill is really, in a sense, that stabilizing factor. When your offensive line is not protecting well in the pass.
2 and change per carry on the day. Cornelius, far side, has the completion to Tylan Wallace. It's a 1st down.
Good throw and catches needed to overcome that coverage right there.
Long throw. Johnson. Tyron Johnson. 1st down inside the 40.
12 offenses are used to doing.
They were moving at the snap. The defensive line was flowing when the ball came back.
The runner's knee was down at the 1.5-yard line with the ball at the 1-yard line.
From down the road in Tulsa, Cornelius has eyes on the pylon. Touchdown! Amendola for the extra point. Kind of get the feel. They're on the board first here in the second half in under 3 minutes on their opening drive. As we go down.
Not that early. What prompted the change, and what are you seeing?
Well, you know, it's just some of the mobility kind of allows us to open some things up offensively, and he's had great poise, and he's a young man that's come in on our program and been really impressive. And you know, we're just waiting for his time, and certainly he's taking advantage of it right now.
It's impressive on the sideline too. I don't have to tell you, Iowa State hasn't won in Stillwater in 18 years. What are you all doing right now that could change that?
Yeah, we just got to keep playing. You know, this team's been a team of resolve, and you know, they play really hard, and now we got to play and win with detail here in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Matt Campbell, the head coach for Iowa State. Purdy down the middle. Butler got turned around and still yanked it in. Hakeem Butler to the 35-yard line.
The run-pass option is something that Brock Purdy is used to. Ran this a lot in high school, and A.J. Green is matched up on Butler.
And that's a mismatch, at least in terms of height for Butler. But he used the strength there to turn him around as well. He's played all but one series in this game. In for Zeb Nolan. Nwangu in motion. Nwangu keeps his feet, turns it upfield. Nice run by Nwangu. Edison Magruder. Nwangu in motion again. The fake that way. Purdy, end zone, on target, touchdown, DeShante Jones. Purdy has been lethal in Stillwater.
This is a great lesson on how one play sets up another. The fly sweep motion, and you give it to the running back the previous play, and this time you send the running back out there on that fly motion again, and you fake the throw to him, and then Jones works up the sideline. Instead of being a blocker this time, he's running a go route into the back of the end zone.
Well, we heard Brock Purdy is very well liked by his teammates, but come Monday on campus, he's going to have thousands more friends. After this today, to the end zone for Jones and another for Purdy. Their last 6 drives as Hubbard is back to receive for Oklahoma State. And it's a touchback as we go back to the touchdown.
And a great look of how you put plays together. Nwangu has ran the fly sweep motion on the play before, and so the defense thinks the same play is coming again. The quarterback is going to isolate one guy outside. The safety has his eyes wrong. Instead of DeShante Jones blocking that nickel safety, he goes by him and goes to the corner of the end zone. And the fly sweep motion the play before set that play up, and that defender thought it was going to Nwangu again, and obviously it went to Jones in the back of the end zone.
Wolf. Oh, Eisworth was right there at the door. Second down. You said his eyes were wrong on that touchdown. Where do you want them to be?
Your eyes initially, I mean, once you see the ball coming outside or the motion coming outside, you have to maintain leverage, but also you're in pass coverage to begin with. And so if a
quick throw, Wolf tripped up. Lawrence White, the red shirts. Cornelius out of the pocket, down the sideline, knocked away by Payne. Johnson the target, Iowa State. Milton lets it roll and tries to get his teammates out of the way back at the 31.
About in Blacksburg this evening.
Purdy goes down. It's so interesting to canvass the country and talk about different styles and ways of playing, because Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, is getting his first taste of the tempo of the Big 12, and he is a fantastic coach, but it's a different sensation when you're here on the sideline, isn't it?
Yeah, there isn't any question about it, and he got indoctrinated into that against Texas Tech, and it didn't go very well. It's all about defending personnel and defending a lot of formation.
Purdy on the run, has some speed, gets across the 40.
Personal foul, grabbing a helmet opening by the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
Penalties have really hurt Oklahoma State so far today.
We believe this is going to, yeah, right there on Bundage, Kelvin Bundage reaching in, and he's one of those hinge points defensively is pressure for Oklahoma State today.
Purdy wings it down the edge, and this is knocked away. Flag has come in on the sideline. A.J. Green with the coverage against
by number 4 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Hard to tell right there.
They get interference instead. Purdy thought about throwing and now sinks down at the 31. Justin Phillips, the red. Purdy on the roll, went to the second level. It's incomplete. There was some contact with That's going nowhere. So now you've got a big
Illegal motion by number 25 of the offense. Penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
All right, so what do you do here, Kelly?
Campbell made that decision.
Done the punt. And it's touched initially at the 10-yard line by Landon A. First down carry for Justice Hill tonight on ABC. Texas Tech earlier this year. A couple of games left that are huge in the conference race if they could sneak out with a win here. Cornelius on the roll. And he throws it away. 3rd down. Cornelius, free runner. He got away from Harvey and threw it short. Harvey certainly sped up his heart rate. 4th down coming up. Too many times today, Cornelius has seen a white jersey coming for him. As Milton fades back inside the 20 now. Milton to the sideline, then turns it upfield and gets it across the 25. Tremendous for Iowa State.
I thought you were going to say Brock Purdy has been Purdy, but
Pretty good.
his decision-making has been fantastic in the run game, and the ball fake outside, and you get the whole package with this young man. He's also had receivers that made plays for him, but the rule of thumb as a quarterback is put it where they can catch it. And Purdy has done a really good job with that, and some great design offensively for Iowa State also. Iowa State is really, really well coached by Matt Campbell and his staff, and you've seen that today so far.
Nwangu squeezes through a hole, and he gets himself.
All of a sudden, you get gashed in the run game.
Not going to get gashed here. Bundage, Evan, and the least recognition here. He wants the ball back. 1 for 6 on 3rd down for Iowa State. Lang out of the backfield. Turns it up and does have the first down to the 38. Purdy, line drive throw, has his man. That's Eaton to the 45. Matthew Eaton, who had the touchdown earlier, gain of 17.
The run-pass option, and going to defend the run, you throw the slant in behind it.
Lang driving the pile, gets himself to the 41. They're playing without David Montgomery, the junior out of Cincinnati. Injury against TCU last week, did not play in this one. Purdy, sideline, a lot of hand fighting, and intercepted. Rodarius Williams picks it off in front of Eaton.
I was with you on that one.
Cornelius off the fake to Hubbard. He throws it for Johnson. And Cornelius blindsided. Ball loose. Let's see who comes up with it. Brian Peavy found the quarterback. And let's see who has the ball. It is Iowa State football, according to the backside official. Cyclones have it. So it took nearly 3 quarters for our first turnover, and suddenly 2 in a heartbeat. Spears recovers for Iowa State.
Well, Iowa State defensive coordinator John Haycock has known exactly when to dial up the pressure. This is Brian Peavy coming off the backside. Cornelius is looking at an RPO on the left.
Some movement on the defensive side for Oklahoma State, not completely organized. Nwangu to the 14.
The thing that, Jason, that a quarterback has to do.
Each player has the ball and runs behind Crony and his line to the 11.
That was really a quarterback designed run, more of a power play. You saw seeing Buckner, number 47, is kind of a move fullback tight end, relocating to lead, and then 63, the left guard Colin Olson, was stepping around to lead the quarterback Purdy. That's what this offense has on the table now. that they didn't have with Zeb Nolan, nor do they really have with Kyle Kempt, who's out. What's going to happen when that young man is back again?
We'll see, but Purdy looks like he's in absolute control of this game. Purdy on the roll. Wanted to throw, dodges the tackle, and extends the ball for what looks like an Iowa State 1st and goal at the 7. He made Bundage miss. I mean, these linebackers are good for Oklahoma State.
Brock Purdy he's a baller on the football field. Again, that probably should have been dumped to Sean Buckner, the fullback, out in the flat immediately, but then it's the kind of the head fakes and the ball fakes, and all of a sudden he's extending the drive.
They have marched down the field pretty well. This off the turnover. Purdy to the 5. No rush. Milton in motion. Purdy to run. Thought about pitching it, and that would not have been a grand plan as Malcolm Rodriguez swatted him down. It's 3rd and goal. And
there was that G play again where the guard steps around and leads the quarterback if the quarterback does not give it on that fly sweep motion.
He's got Crony with him on 3rd down. Purdy sets, throws under pressure, end zone, incomplete. Hakeem Butler got his mitts on it. Williams knocked it over.
Egregious violation that fits the targeting rule than that right there. I don't understand it. And that's the second one in 2 weeks that I've missed completely.
Connor Asali is perfect this season. He is 8 for 8 in field goals. Iowa State takes a 12-point lead. Again, the reason I'm kind of quizzical there too is you've got in the rule book.
And that's a complete whiff by the replay booth, in my opinion.
Hubbard at the 3. Chuba Hubbard right up the middle of the field. And what amounts to the last touch of the football. That is shocking. Miami does not need that, certainly, as Justice Hill gets all turned around and loses a couple yards. Again, he has to move his feet early and lobs it to the sideline. What a grab by Wallace.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Hill, neatly done that time. It's like he's got an internal GPS.
Yeah, he's a pretty special running back. Great vision and great feet, and a physical finisher of the run as well.
Cornelius flushed again, and down he goes. Ball came loose. They're going to say he was down. Cornelius did have a chance to 3rd down defense-wise. Pressure coming again. Flag comes in, might be a hold. Cornelius down the field, has a completion to Wallace, but will.
Holding, number 72 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
It's on the center, Johnny, but he's been a very active freshman for Iowa State. Pressure again. Incomplete. Jaquan Bailey got in there to flash and runner-up this year. 11 NCAA championships. Guys like Bob Tway, Scott Verplank as well as Siner, who dropped a snap earlier, which led to a safety. This is off of Iowa State, and Oklahoma State is on the football. That is exactly what the Cowboys needed. They're in plus territory as DeMonte Ruth had it ricochet off of it.
Typically, Iowa State is really buttoned up in this area of the game, and DeMonte Ruth is supposed to get word from Milton in that particular case that typically the punt receiver runs up and is giving some indicator that it's a short punt and getting that particular play well enough for Ruth.
Cornelius down the middle, and a whistle comes in. This play.
Replay stopped the game.
Now, the question is on that punt, I was wondering if they'd stop it. The question is, did the ball touch an Oklahoma State player first? If it does, that means The recovery does not count. The ball is dead. We'll find out when we come back. Call on the field was confirmed. It is Oklahoma State football, and we got a couple looks at it. You will too. This ball did not hit any of the Cowboys players. Zakarius Green was down there for the Cowboys, and yeah, it cleanly bounced off of Ruth. And just a huge mammoth turnover here. They start from the 23. Justice Hill sent backward. Payne got there second. Lewis was first, and a loss on the play. Another test. This very powerful offense. Cornelius incomplete, and again he had to speed up just a little bit. He saw a team that has really struggled on third down defense this year. Cornelius has to move. Sideline, got it to the 14.
Wow.
That does count as an action comment of the game, going to the ground. Fourth down. Justice Hill surging into the line for a first down, Oklahoma. Hill again. Nifty shift through to the 4. His feet are so fun to watch.
And the feet of a running back are...
One more time. Easy for the touchdown. Justice Hill.
Into the end zone.
Might have to reload the artillery with how quickly they're scoring. Extra point.
He got some work done too.
You sound disappointed, Mr. Former quarterback. Nwangu gets to his feet and finds a gap. He was patient, and he makes his way across the 30. Chris Cotter with Crony in the backfield now. Quick hitter, Deshaunte Jones. Not a lot there. Malcolm Rodriguez was in there first. He was questionable to play, the former All-State wrestler. Nwangu to the 37 or so. Third down and manageable.
Money down right here for the true freshman, Brock Purdy.
On third down, pressure coming, and a flag is in. Let's see if the timeout happened or the flag came in.
And from where the flag came, Iowa State
Prior to
wanted
the snap,
that timeout.
Iowa State called a timeout. It's their first of the half.
Whedon to start the second overtime. Ball's in the air, and it is intercepted. Woody. Touchdown, they did it! Number 2, Oklahoma State ain't pretty no more. Their first loss of the year. Welcome to utter chaos.
37-31 the final score. Last time they beat Oklahoma State 2011. Last time here 2000. This is a third down out of the timeout for the freshman quarterback Purdy. He throws. Quick hitter Jones, who can't break the tackle. Rodriguez tripped him up. And Oklahoma State forces for
A really good example of it. Wrestlers know leverage and they know angles, and Rodriguez had all of it on that play.
And if that's not bad enough for Iowa State that he's such a good tackler. Dangerous safety. Wallace back to receive the punt. And this goes bouncing beautifully for Iowa State inside the 50. For now, Oklahoma State goes with Cornelius, who had a 48-yard run earlier. This one does not go for near. Second down. Cornelius. Long ball, middle of the field. Dropped! Wallace. State, it's third down. Cornelius. Pump fake. Tried the check down and way overthrew it. Marcel Spears Jr. was as close. See if they have somebody else's magic today against LSU. Signer with the punt. This time Milton communicates perfectly with everyone. And
a touchdown or less, and here we go again.
Well, the Purdy family is having a watch party right now, but they didn't expect to be as engaged in the game as
that Brock Purdy was going to play. Just didn't know he was going to play that early.
You know, you get the appetizers, you get everyone together, but he's not starting the game. Well, now they don't have time for selfies. They got to be locked into this drive. The Purdy family. His brother, by the way, took over the quarterback position at his old high school, so it's passed down in the family. Very athletically gifted group. Purdy to throw, going away from it, has Milton down the middle. Tariq Milton, touchdown, Iowa State. Cowboys have a drop. Cyclones put it in for 6.
Jason, we talked about how Brock Purdy has to stand in there under pressure. Brailford gets to Purdy and unloads on him, and sometimes to reap the rewards of a good route down the field, a quarterback has to stand under pressure, and I kid you not, Brock Purdy was going to get unloaded on by Brailford, stands in the face of it and throws a strike to Milton down the field.
Now look, why would you go for 2 here? You kick the extra point, you make it 12. Here, if you go for 2, it's a field goal and a touchdown and 2. You got to go for 1 here, right? Am I missing something?
I think Iowa State is missing something, and probably why they just called a timeout.
You leave it at 11, touchdown, 2-point conversion, field goal. You push it to 12. There is no 2-score game that includes a field goal. You've got to kick this extra point. Tariq Milton, though, the freshman from Bradenton, with major speed.
Yeah, and he is that speed guy. Typically, you have size out wide, but Milton is the guy that can take the top off, and that's what taking the top off looks like. Set the defender outside and then go to the post with nobody home in the middle of the field. And then your quarterback, Brock Purdy, under pressure, stands in there and loves every minute of it.
Unless Sally's injured. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Unless you get it, of course. Purdy on the rollout. Brailford was with him, and they do have the 2-point conversion. He hits Crony, who got it across the line, and now they're going to say no. Incomplete. He did not complete the catch. I thought he was across the line with possession. Matt Campbell can't believe it.
Well, you have to have a confirmed possession, and then you have to have possession when you get past the goal line, which is the football move common to the game in this particular play.
Yeah, Rodriguez dislodges it, sure, but at some point, if you've made a football move and you are at all across the plane, that is a good conversion. That's a successful conversion.
That's a successful conversion. That was missed. And then in this case, it's the ball has to be possessed and just penetrate the very front of the end zone, and all of that is true. I think this is overturned.
The one thing I would say is, as he spins toward the goal line, the ball rotates slightly. And the question is, when that ball rotates, has he completely secured possession of the football? If there is a move of the ball as he's crossing the goal line,
and remember the standard to overturn it, it's indisputable video evidence, and
that's dispute to me is that the ball was moving.
Sync with the
after further review, the receiver caught the ball, went into the end zone, then was hit and fumbled after he had scored. It's 2 points.
I think you're dead on there. That's the right call. That's the call we want for college football, because at some point there's a termination of needing to then have more of a catch, and the goal line is that termination point.
Right.
If you've breached that, you are in, the play is over. And we've had discussions with replay officials and official coordinators about that sort of play. As we check in with our Pacific Life game summary, there is a lot to think about in this one, including Brock Purdy, 402 total yards, 5 touchdowns, and Iowa State showing a lot of gumption defensively.
Yeah, 7 sacks when they only had 5 coming into this game. So Oklahoma State never figured out how to protect their quarterback consistently enough.
Hubbard on the return, not much there. As we check in with Chris Connor, what you got? The end zone. It's getting a little lonely up there.
Where exactly is he?
He's
way up high.
Yeah,
oh, he's just
checking the scores.
Where did all of his friends go? This is a good, decent game.
Propping up the wall. Justice Hill. Do they have enough time to turn to just 30s on their all-up podcasts? Boxing, NHL. I know Joe Tess is watching the boxing. Justice Hill doubling back. Cornelius wants to throw him a block, but there was nowhere to go. It was Willie Harvey again, who's been very active in this game. 3rd and 4, Cornelius. You know, what really stinks here for Oklahoma State is you talked about the clutter and having to be patient. When they had the ball over the top and they had the touchdown and it finally came to
their opportunity on that one.
Cornelius shedded 1 tackle. The rest came and dropped him. Mike Rowe. Here, Peavy. Under 4.5 to go. Cornelius on the roll again. And it's intercepted. Picked off by Braxton Lewis, his 3rd of the year.
The football, and then I think it was Lewis's left foot that gets down before he's out of bounds. Possession, catch, and do you finish it through the football move, which in this case was going out of bounds, and I think all of those things are yes.
There is green between the foot and the line. Yeah, you'd need indisputable video evidence to overturn this call, and it doesn't look like it's there. So John Haycock, who's been all over the Midwest, the defensive coordinator for Iowa State, to set up plus territory. Crony on the run, and you have to imagine, as a former quarterback, you got Cornelius, who's been running for his life all day long. You do get tired, don't you?
Football game.
And a whistle before the snap. Timeout, Iowa State.
Iowa State calls their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So Oklahoma State has 2 remaining. Iowa State.
Quarterback in Ian Book, and don't count against Bud Foster in that one.
Purdy to the sideline. He does get down, forcing Oklahoma State to next week. Then you got the off week, Texas Tech to follow. But if Purdy gives West Virginia a game, an undefeated team, you got to keep him in, right?
Oh, I don't think there's a question about that, considering what he brings to this offense in the quarterback run game.
Crony for the 44. Rodriguez again the stop. So you got Kemp with the injury. You have Zeb Nolan, who was benched after 1 series in this game, as Oklahoma State has 1 timeout remaining.
And it was more about, to me, Brock Purdy's opportunity than it was Zeb Nolan doing anything. I mean, it was a quick hook, not because of performance, certainly by Zeb Nolan, but because of what Matt Campbell wanted to test out with Brock Purdy.
Let's check in with Olivia downstairs.
You know, guys, on that note, what I've noticed from this quarterback unit is that they are just that. They're a unit on the sideline the whole game. Both Zeb Nolan and Kyle Kempt have been in Brock Purdy's ear, and, you know, Kyle Kemp's in street clothes and still with that limp, so he's looking at the next couple weeks, and now Brock Purdy being this big star in this big game. Also, Zeb Nolan, I just got to say, I've seen a lot of class from that kid. He's high-fiving him and complimenting him and celebrating with him on the sideline. It's been really fun to watch. But for that Purdy family, if you all are still watching, which I assume you're going to be replaying this one a lot.
They are.
Your son has shown extreme calmness and poise, and you heard his head coach say that at half.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch. Brock Purdy, anytime you see somebody kind of come out of their shell, and this was a playing time shell, not a personal shell, but you never know on a college football Saturday who the next star is going to be, as done.
And so those guys in the room dealing well with one another is going to be huge going forward. And how Matt Campbell handles that decision making. A couple of plays in this game. Remember that first half, the drop snap by the punter. of Oklahoma State resulted in a safety.
As this ball goes to the outside for Justice Hill, Payne takes him out of bounds.
The safety and
150 and change to go. Cornelius on the roll. He's been doing this all day long. Cornelius up the sideline and gets out of bounds on a stroll at the 40.
Today because Oklahoma State was exposed more on the offensive line of scrimmage as that one's underthrown by Cornelius. And
Foul, roughing the passer, number 58 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
There have been some odd things going on in this game today. You know that?
Yeah, I need to go give the people in the replay booth a hug because I lit them up on a couple of things. But Spencer Benton goes low on a quarterback, and that could have been and Benton is just trying to make hay while he gets some playing time. So I like the hustle play, but you got to stay up.
That one's incomplete. Johnson went up for it, got a hand near it. Payne was right on his back. You've got Cornelius, whose major offer was to go to.
Just lit that pass protection up.
Here it is again.
From the get-go.
And he just got his receiver cleaned out because of one timeout remaining for Oklahoma State. Cornelius got to have this one down the edge. Battle for it. Touchdown! Tylan Wallace around Peavy. And from Cornelius as Amendola for the extra point to make it a 6-point game. And this series, which was 49-42 last season for Oklahoma State, with last time the Cyclones won here, the quarterback was Sage Rosenfels. It was a long time ago. Iowa State was down going into the fourth quarter, but finished the deal 13-3. Rosenfels 290-2.
Passes 10 yards, and they can't engage in the receiving team.
Here it is. Butler high points it. That's how the scoring started for Iowa State, and that's how the game will very likely end.
A very good guy to finish is Butler. You talk about a guy who has the length to go up and get this one. That was a very good onside kick. That's what you want out of an onside kick. You want that extra bounce right at the end. Well executed, but the guy on the other end.
It was Matt Hockett off the punt. And this is a couple kneel downs. And that is it for Iowa State. So Hakeem Butler, who grew up with the Harrisons, the former Kentucky standouts on the basketball court. He scores a touchdown in this game and ends up with the ball in his hand to finish the victory for Iowa State. And Matt Campbell, whose team was down at 0-2 in the Big 12 after a loss at TCU. They're playing without David Montgomery, their star tailback. And lo and behold, with a new quarterback, a freshman who'd seen 2 snaps in his college career, the Cyclones win on the road in Stillwater.
And talking to Matt Campbell earlier in the week, you sensed that they were up to something, because remember, their first game of the year was canceled. And then the next 3 games, Iowa, Oklahoma, and Akron, were all different game plans, and they never really felt that they got.
Team, Mike Gundy told us, very impressed with Matt Campbell and his staff. And for Brock Purdy, the freshman out of Gilbert, Arizona, he is the man who replaces Sage Rosenfels as the most recent Cyclone quarterback to win in Stillwater. (48-42) the final score. And so
it showed up for me. It's the tackles for loss. It's getting these high-powered offenses behind schedule, and they get a little impatient. And you saw Oklahoma State do a little of that. When they had gash plays, they were effective. But when they had to be efficient and didn't have those plays, they got behind the chains, and it resulted in either a turnover or putting the ball away.
16 tackles for loss for Iowa State, and their head coach, Matt Campbell, is with Olivia.
Okay, we are just laughing. Was Brock Purdy even born the last time Iowa State won in Stillwater? But, Coach, what did you see from your young quarterback?
Yeah, he's got great poise. You know, he's a young man that's been impressive since he stepped on our campus. And, he's bided his time, and, you know, he took advantage of his opportunity, and we talk a lot about that in our program, and really proud of him.
Sticking on the offensive side, you did this one without your star running back, David Montgomery. What was the best part of the offensive show today?
Yeah, I just think it was a collective effort, you know, and it's a group that, you know, we've been trying to find our way a little bit, and, you know, we had an opportunity. These kids have practiced, and we got some really good players, and I think some of those guys got their opportunity to showcase what they could do today.
Back in the win column, first Big 12 win as well. What does this one do for your program?
Well, you know, this team, it's one of my favorite teams I've ever coached because they love football and they come to work every day. And I said, for this team, our obstacle will be the way, and it kind of was today a little bit, you know, but they just keep playing, and I really love this group.
Last one real quick, Coach. Who's your quarterback next week?
Yeah, you know, we'll decide that here in a little bit, but obviously Brock has put himself in a great situation to continue to improve. But, you know, I thought Zeb Nolan was first class today on the sideline, and really proud of his leadership as well.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much.
Olivia, thank you. 48-42, the final score for Olivia Decker, Kelly Stauffer, Jason Benetti saying farewell from Stillwater. Auburn, Mississippi State is coming up shortly, but for now, we go back inside the studio. Full day of college football to document Chris Cotter as your leader.